Hi, I'm John DiBlasi. I'm an arbitrator and mediator with NAM, who I'm sure you know as National Arbitration and Mediation. And today I'm going to be talking about virtual ADR and giving you an update on the technology, cybersecurity, and some unique issues. In terms of the technology, what we're looking at with NAM is primarily using Zoom, and that's through an enhanced security platform, which I'll talk about in more detail in a little while. It's very easy to video conference through Zoom because all you have to do is click on a link that is emailed to you to get in. It can be used with PC, a Mac, a laptop, iPad, Android, iPhone, any type of smart device. And as long as you have internet connectivity, you will be able to get into the virtual arbitration or mediation. Also, for the purposes of teleconference, you're given a call-in number, a meeting ID, a password, and you have all the same benefits as if you were attending by video. You can get into breakout rooms, you can get into a separate room with your client, you can join a joint session. The only difference is that there'll be a box without an image, as opposed to people who are attending by video conference who will have an image. Now, what will you see when you log on? Well, you'll see all of the participants. You'll see a name below their image. We suggest that you name yourself in advance of coming into the meeting and use your full name. You'll be in the joint session. And I think very quickly, you're going to find out that it is the same as if you were attending in person. And you can see by looking at this screen, if you've never used Zoom before, that all of the participants will be seen at the initial joint session. Now, a lot of people are afraid of the technology, and that's understandable. But with respect to Zoom, the mediator takes over as soon as you come into the joint session. The mediator handles all the technology. Once you log on, there's really little else for you to do. And assuming there's a good internet connection, there is rarely any glitch with respect to the process. All you'll have to do is to click on some icons when the mediator instructs you to do that. And in terms of breakout rooms, this is a question that comes up quite frequently. Only the mediator can create breakout rooms. The mediator will put you in there. You know who is in the breakout room. You know if someone enters, and any number of rooms can be created for you, your clients, and we can move you back and forth. But only the mediator can do that. And I assure you, you have absolute security when you're in the breakout room. No one can listen in, including the mediator. The mediator would have to ask you for permission to enter the room or would give you notice through a message that he was going to come into the room. Now, with respect to the breakout room itself, this is what it will look like. You have a limited number of icons at the bottom of the screen. The only one that will work is the Ask for Help icon with a question mark, and you would simply click on that if you were intending to get the mediator back in the room. You'll see the arrow pointing to leave breakout room. That is only in the case of an emergency, and that'll take you out of the breakout room right to the joint session. Now, NAM also has available WebEx, which is a company owned by Cisco, BlueJeans by Verizon, and Skype. Some people would like to use another platform. NAM is absolutely satisfied with the security that we have in our enhanced platform with Zoom, but certainly WebEx is available. That is suitable for a one-on-one mediation or an arbitration. It does not have breakout rooms, but you can put people on hold. But as it does not have breakout rooms, it is really not suitable for multiple parties. BlueJeans is very similar to Zoom. In terms of Skype, we know the New York State court system is using it, and that is available, although our platform of preference is Zoom with the enhanced security that we have. Now, with NAM, NAM has a sophisticated IT department. And in terms of the technology, they're there constantly to help you in the event that there's a glitch or to help the mediator in the event there's a glitch in the meeting. You can ask them questions before, you can ask them questions through the mediator during the mediator, and they're always there to assist you, to monitor the process. And that doesn't mean that they're listening in, but they're always looking for the potential of a security breach. And they're always looking to improve the cybersecurity on NAM's platform. Now, this is not a quick fix with NAM. The technology is not new. NAM has been using virtual ADR for years. The security is very advanced, and we've used it in complex mediations and arbitrations. In terms of the cybersecurity itself, there's no system that is totally secure. And what you'd have to ask yourself are who are the hackers and why do they hack? Because we're all concerned about somebody hacking into a meeting. Well, you have the white hat hackers, the good guys, the hacktivists who are political, the black hat hackers. Those are the cyber criminals. Then you have the jokers, the Zoom bombers. Now, the cyber criminals or the black hats, they look to steal information. If they can't get into the platform in the first instance, there's nothing to fear. If they do get into the platform and there's no information for them to steal, to either sell to a third party or to use to hack into your computer, there's nothing to worry about either, because they're looking for your name, your email address, your IP address, your location, or your device itself. And as I said, once they hack into your computer or they will hack into your database, they're looking to sell this information to third parties as a general proposition. The hacktivists and jokers, they're really looking to disrupt. If they can get into the meeting, they're going to put up offensive images. If they cannot get into the meeting, there's no way for them to disrupt. Now, Zoom bombing is intended to disrupt, and we've all heard about it. Often it's done in large virtual meetings where inadvertently or intentionally, the meeting login information has been disclosed, which is something that you should never do. The other way to get into a meeting or to Zoom bomb is to go on the Zoom USA website. A digit randomizer is used, which generates 9 to 11 digits, and it will eventually lock into a meeting. However, if there is a password in addition to the meeting ID number, no one is going to get into it. So that's really called two-factor authentication. First, you have to get on the website. Secondarily, you need a password. So you need the website, participant ID, and then the password. So you're concerned about theft, invasion of privacy, and disruption, which is understandable. And the security objectives of NAM is really to protect the system from hackers, not to collect any information that could be stolen. And in the event, which is unlikely, of a hack, isolate and remove the threat. In the first instance, what is the likelihood of a hack? Well, I think it would be rather small for a virtual mediation or arbitration, because the hacker would have to know what they were looking for in advance, and the window for the hack is very small. But to that end, NAM security measures exceed the HIPAA compliance requirements and make the platform as secure as possible. And layers of protection are provided. We have a vanity URL, there are encrypted links, so the meeting ID is encrypted, the password is encrypted, and no data is collected. So even assuming someone was able to get into the website, there's nothing to steal. Now, a vanity URL, to explain that very simply, well, if you're using Zoom and it's not a premium service, you're just logging into Zoom USA, and you can't create a vanity URL. A vanity URL is a web address, and when you're logging into NAM's virtual mediations and arbitrations, we have a separate web address which precedes the Zoom address, so that provides an added level of protection, because unless you're somebody who's participating in the meeting, you're not going to know about that vanity URL. In terms of collecting information initially, when you log in, your user identity is removed upon logging in, and also the identity of your device is removed. So again, we're looking at removing, even in the unlikely possibility of a hack, any information that could be stolen. In terms of encryption, as I said, you'll be given a link. It's not a generic link. This is a link to a specific meeting, which is reserved for your mediation and arbitration for the entire day. Nobody else has access to it. There's a password in the link that's encrypted. So you have the meeting ID number and the password in the link. They're both scrambled. So you have two-factor authentication. And the meeting access information is only available to participants in the process. But what you need to do is, understandably, not share your meeting links or login information, limit people with access, and secure documents with login information. You're worried about proprietary information, confidential information, or embarrassing information being disclosed if someone was eavesdropping. Well, even if someone hacks into the platform, there is no information for them to steal. It's very simply, there's nothing that's in NAM's database when you're on the Zoom platform that is shared with Zoom. So again, there's no information to steal. NAM also trains its neutrals very well. The neutrals act as the sole host of the meeting. They're trained and updated on security issues. They know what to do in the unlikely event of a breach, which is to simply block or remove the threat. The neutrals control who is visible. They can lock or end a meeting in progress. They're the only ones who can create breakout rooms and move people back and forth. So in terms of the neutrals, they know what they're doing and you are protected. Screen sharing and recording, this is another security measure that NAM has taken. No images or files may be shared without the permission of the neutral. Many times when people Zoom bomb, screen sharing is allowed and they put the offensive image right up on the screen. Cannot happen on our Zoom platform. Screen sharing is paused to allow the neutral to review the image. It's also encrypted. It is not shared with Zoom, so that is not recorded or stored and cannot be stolen. And also video recording and live streaming is disabled. So essentially there's no record of the meeting and there's no chat between the parties. In other words, something that people type in that could be stolen in the unlikely event of a hack. Now, certain issues that are unique to virtual ADR, well, recording, as I've said to you, recording and live streaming has been disabled, but I would just suggest to you that you ask the neutral at the beginning of a mediation or arbitration to instruct the parties that they're not to independently record the proceeding. I doubt that they would do that, but I would just say that that's a good suggestion to follow. In terms of the attendance at the meeting, you should ask the mediator or arbitrator at the beginning to ask who is in attendance, just to make sure there's no one who is not visible on any screen. I've never had that occur during the 100 plus mediations and arbitrations that I've done virtually, but it's something to ask the mediator or arbitrator to instruct the parties on. With respect to a virtual arbitration, the mediator should be asked to instruct the parties, number one, that no one can prompt them, and number two, if they are using anything to refresh their recollection, that has to be disclosed. Some general observations: the virtual ADR process I found to be more efficient in many ways. The parties are far more courteous for some reason. There's less crosstalk and posturing in both the joint and breakout sessions. And the mediations tend to go faster because there's no physical movement back and forth between rooms. The only thing I would say to you is slow down and book enough time. And time is something that people are concerned about with respect to virtual mediations and arbitrations because they're concerned that the mediation or arbitration is supposed to end at a certain time, and that unlike a face-to-face, if it runs over, the mediator cannot move back and forth and essentially try and work on two cases at one time. Well, with virtual arbitration mediation, I can come back later in the day with the parties because that channel is reserved for you for the entire day. You have a dedicated virtual conference room. So if we finish at 12 and we haven't wrapped everything up, I can tell you to come back at 4 o'clock, link right back into the same meeting, and we can complete the process. I can also allow you to stay and negotiate directly. If you choose to do that, I can move on to another meeting if I have to. Or I can negotiate, which I've done many times, by email once I've left your meeting and have gone into another meeting. And I can do that the same day. Additionally, demonstrative evidence can be used during the process. People have asked me about that. NAM IT will help you with screen sharing, which is simply getting your document image up on the screen so everybody can see it. But obviously, it's a good idea to exchange any exhibits unless they're being held back for tactical reasons in advance of the virtual proceeding. Well, will virtual ADR replace face-to-face mediations? All I can say is it's going to have an impact. Business continuity, clearly during the course of the pandemic, it's been incredibly important with respect to business continuity. Scheduling, it makes scheduling a lot easier. Cancellations, I believe that it reduces cancellations because of the flexibility. It also saves a lot of time because people do not have to travel, and it also can save quite a bit of money because not only do they not have to travel, but in cases where you would have to have people come in and stay overnight, you have larger travel expenses, you're going to save a lot of money. So in conclusion, all I would say to you is there's nothing to lose by trying virtual ADR. The response has been overwhelmingly positive, and what I'd like to say is we hope to see you, if not virtually, face-to-face in the near future. My name is John DiBlasi. Again, thank you very much for listening.